I'm excited to be able to join with you again. We had the opportunity to see many of you at our workshop where Matt Laidlaw shared with us ways that we can help young people have their faith stick and become lifelong followers of Jesus. And we just thought it might be helpful just to reconnect with Matt and look at what we've been able to accomplish with God's help in the last month. As students are in school, we're back starting in release time, and now the rubber meets the road. And are we able to apply some of the things that Matt shared with us? So Matt is here with me, and I just want to ask you, Matt, one of the things you said was very important for us is to partner with parents in raising their children. What do you want to remind us about that?
Sure. First, let me say again, thanks so much for the opportunity to join you at the beginning of September. The program you're a part of is so creative and so unique and so vital, so please be encouraged, even this early in the game. What you're doing matters. We talked a little bit about our slice of the pie and our role, and how that is contrasted with the primary voice that parents have in the discipleship of their children. And you've been at this for about a month now. You're starting to settle into your role, hopefully, and getting to know your kids. So I would just maybe want to encourage you with a couple of questions to consider. Have you been able to see not only your kids that you're working with, but also maybe a little bit of the complexity of their family dynamics? Have you been able to consider ways that you might be able to pray specifically for not only the kids you're working with, but their parents and their families? And of course, to do that well, have you learned their names? Have you shaken any hands? Have you initiated any contact or communication with the parents of your children? If you haven't done those things yet, that's fine. I just want to continue to encourage you to think about making the most of your slice of the pie and thinking about not just the child you're working with, but the complexity of the family dynamic that each of them represents. So hopefully by now, as you've connected with new kids or kids you've worked with in previous years, you've been reminded of why you got into this in the first place. You weren't making a commitment to a program or just to 1 hour a week. You were making a commitment to love kids and to put the gospel on display in the ways you love them and care for them. And as we've thought about and talked about this adult expectations and adult support for young people as they journey towards adulthood, I just want to encourage you to continue to think about the unique opportunity you have to be a part of a support system for these kids. To not completely remove expectations, but to be maybe one of the only adults in their lives that offers expectations with support. And that is loving them and is present in their life with no other agenda beyond loving them for who they are, not to get them to jump through any hoops or perform for the adult world or do anything else, but to be with them and to love them and care for them without an agenda. So showing up each week is a huge part of the battle, and you're doing that. I just want to encourage you to continue to be aware of those expectations and support dynamics and think of ways you can be a part of that 5-to-1 support system for these kids.
Yeah, that's great. And again, that whole idea that we need to be one of those five, I think that is so significant. And you share with us the whole idea of their religion being shaped a lot by moralistic, therapeutic deism, where they're wanting to be happy, they're doing some of their own deciding things with their peers kind of underneath what's happening around them. You shared that with us. What are some spiritual practices? Remind us of some of those things that can help us give them a biblical worldview rather than the one that the world is sharing with them.
Sure. Well, the primary tenets of that moralistic therapeutic deism idea that we talked about was essentially be good, feel good, and God's there if you need him. And we all know that the gospel we ascribe to and proclaim is more big and beautiful and profound than that. And we talked about a number of things you can do to help foster a long-term Christian faith in the lives of these young people. And one of them had to do with spiritual practices. And I briefly mentioned the idea of instead of giving kids fish, we have the opportunity in this program to teach them how to fish. So as you've opened Bibles with these kids, as you've prayed with these kids, I want to encourage you to continue to think about how you're not only imparting information and praying on their behalf, but also modeling something for them and inviting them into something. What it might look like for you to not only teach them something from the Bible, but teach them how to engage the Bible and not just pray with them or for them, but invite them into the practice of prayer in a way that will be transformative for them and invite them to take the next step in owning their own faith. And that's just one of the small things that you have a great opportunity to do that no one else in the lives of these kids might be doing it, and it has the potential to leave a lasting impact on their lives and on their faith.
Thanks so much, Matt. And what's exciting is you shared that our motto is providing opportunities for people to experience life change through personal encounters with God. And you said, help them experience God. And that's what we want to see happen in release time. So these are ways that we can do that. I trust this little reminder is beneficial to you. And again, I encourage you, continue to be talking to one another, especially those of you that were at workshop and heard Matt share. Hopefully God's continuing to stir some things in us and just giving us a greater boldness and a passion for lost souls and being one of those that are entering into the lives of students. So thanks again, Matt, for sharing with us a second time around.
Sure.
And we just look forward to seeing how God will continue to multiply what he's already begun. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.